Maxwell. I'm a counselor with Ascension, Wisconsin's EAP, as well as a registered yoga teacher. I teach here in Oshkosh, where I live, and we've been doing these monthly R&R sessions for over 4 years. So it's wonderful to see the familiar names that with you all joining. So if you'd like to get email reminders, look at the info, the message in the chat. You can always chat directly to EAP Gathering Space if you'd like to be added to that reminder list. So our R&R sessions are part of your EAP benefit, as well as our lunch and learns. The lunch and learns are every other month. You can always check out our website and see what's coming up next. The R&Rs are the first Wednesday of every month from noon to 12:30. We use the same Zoom link for all of our presentations. So you can always make this a recurring appointment in your schedule, your calendar, and you can catch our previously recorded R&R sessions on our YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube and search Ascension Wisconsin EAP, you'll find our channel and you'll see the enormous folder of R&Rs that we've had the last couple of years. So settle into your seat. Let's make the transition from the busyness or whatever our day has held so far. Miranda and I were just talking about how my morning was quite eventful, and so it's been good to shift gears here. Okay, so let the weight of the body shift into your seat and maybe take a couple of cleansing breaths. I had developed this PowerPoint or presentation last week and had used a bunch of photographs from Pixabay. And then I was up north this past weekend and took some pictures on a hike I took through a place where I usually cross country ski, but my partner and I went walking. And so this was one of the images I took with my phone. My daughter had my nice fancy camera. Um, so it's interesting, right? Like what comes into focus and what shifts out of focus with the change in seasons. And we're in a big shift right now. And we even feel this shift a little bit more pronounced because it's warm. And it's like, oh, when are we going to get into the cooler weather? The mornings and the evenings are certainly cooler, up here at least. But the during the day, it's quite warm. I'm going down to Beloit for a wedding this weekend and had a nice fall outfit all planned and coordinated, and it's going to be 87 degrees the entire weekend. So I'm going to be sweating it out a bit or trying to figure out a bit of a wardrobe change. So um, when we come through changes, it is easy to get out of balance, right? Because we have our routines, right? We've been really active. It was before you know, it's the time of vacations in the summer and gardening. And think about all the activities that have been in your schedule on your calendar the last couple of months and the type of activities that you're shifting into now. And how are you managing your self-care during these shifts? What are the elements of self-care that you've been doing that you want to maintain? And what are the elements of self-care that you might have gotten away from that you want to bring back? So, for instance, I'm outside so much in the summers. I'm go, go, go. I don't really have much time to read. And by this time of the year, I'm starting to miss that. And so I start thinking of the books, that I want to dig into. And I've even started finding some books that I'm lightly going into that are short, because I'm still half active, half moving into a sitting, and certainly with football seasons, spending a little bit more time on the couch now, and I typically will read while watching football. So, but distracted, right? So, whether it's a big self-care thing like exercise, um, shifting to being indoors in a little bit with our exercise routines, but take a moment here. And I just said a key word here, and that was take a moment. Okay. Change is a shift, right? And so when you think, and we're going to do this in our chair yoga in a little bit, right? Every time we shift posture, that's a change. And we have to rebalance ourselves. And balance is not a stagnant state where we're rigid, right? When you think of gymnasts, nailing their landing, you see the wobble. Even if they get a 10, a score, right? Perfect 10, there's still a wobble on their landing. When we land in these shifts, these changes, there's going to be a wobble. And the thing is that we don't want the wobble to be so pronounced that we lose our balance, that we fall over, right? So, what we're unconsciously doing when we shift, when we take a moment, is we're coming into a pause. And that's what we're going to also practice today is being more mindful of the pause. And not only mindful of the pause, being intentional to take a pause, okay? And to note the importance of being intentional with your pause. When you take a pause in this moment, what do you do instinctually? Okay, just note there's no right or wrong. You might fix your eyes on something. Typically, we might become more aware of our breath if we've been doing breath awareness, right? We might, okay, take a deep breath, and that breath starts to clear our mind, right? It helps bring perspective back on. I'm pointing to this part of our head because that's where perspective resides. It's in that prefrontal cortex that makes us human beings. And perspective is what creates our reality, right? Each of us are creating a different reality right now based on what type of perspective we're formulating because of our personalities, our past, right? It's all these things. And so taking a moment here to pause and just know what to be able to reflect what's been going on in the past, what's going on right now, and how can we be intentional about the next step, the next movement, the next plan. Okay. So I really invite you, and it's interesting that spring and fall, right? We have the equinox. Equinox means balance, right? Balance between night and day. And they are gorgeous seasons, right? The blooming of spring causes us, invites us to pause, to take a moment, to relish the beauty in front of us. Fall, the same thing. It's like this blossoming of color on the trees, the leaves as they, are scattered on our path. They invite us to pause, right? The snow invites us to hibernate. The sun and invites us to be active. So this was the path I was on Saturday morning, and you can see how this is actually the path where you can snowshoe in the winter. The cross-country ski trails are quite hilly and steep, but take a moment here and immerse yourself in this image. The trees, maybe imagine what the leaves sounded like with the breeze, what the warmth of the sunlight could feel on your skin. When you walk in the fall and the spring and you're in the shade and it's cool, and then you come out of the shadows and it's warm, you feel like these little pockets of cool air and warmer air. The sound of the leaves crunching under your feet, the sensations of the tall grass and the brush um, coming up against your ankles and legs. I had shorts on because it was so warm Saturday morning. The birds, right? The geese honking overhead, migrating. And notice what's happened to your body. Take a moment, take a pause, and notice the shift just from um, that sensory imagination. And let's start to ground a little bit more. So become aware of your feet. Bring both of the feet to the floor if they aren't there already. Maybe wiggle the toes. Feel the four corners of the feet, the outer edges, the heels, the balls of the feet. Notice the lift in the inner arches, the inner ankle, and travel with your awareness up through your legs, the shins, the calves, the knees. See if you can soften the knees a little bit more as you travel up the thigh bone, the hamstrings, the quadriceps, the hips. Notice the hip sockets here, the pelvic girdle, this pelvic bowl that holds you, that you sit in, the deep muscle tissues deep within the pelvis, the organs, the soft tissue that's at the belly that resides within, and come into deeper awareness of the softness of the belly as you come into awareness more of your breath, the inhale and the exhale. Rising out of the pelvic girdle, the sacral plate that sits at the back with the SI joint up through the spine, the lumbar spine, the thoracic, the cervical spine. You might think of the back of the spine, the front of the spine, each side, the right and left side of the spine, all the way up through the neck, the cervical spine to the base of the skull. Base of the skull as it's attached through this spine to the shoulder girdle, the collarbones, the shoulder blades, the ribs, and notice the space inside the ribs, the sternum and the back of the spine, each rib, the right and the left. You might even think about the right lung, the left lung, the right side of the heart, the back side, the left side of the heart, the front and the back. And imagine how your heart is being massaged by the lungs. Every time that you inhale, there's a compression around the heart, around the vagus nerve that resides between the lungs, the diaphragm, and the belly. And then as you exhale, release. Travel up through the back of the skull and let the mind rest. Let it soften. The back of the mind, the front, the sides. Release the temples and the forehead, the chin, both jaws, upper and lower, both nostrils, both eyes, both lips even, and both cheeks, both ears. Soften the ears. Soften the eyebrows. Soften the eyelids. Let the eyes gently close and come in to deeper awareness at the third eye center, the middle of the head. And pause. Feel the sensations Don't think about them. Just feel the sensations of this relaxation, of this awareness of your physical body. And then you might notice a subtle awareness of a deeper sense of life force. In yoga, we call this prana, that motivates your breath, that motivates everything in our universe, really. Motivates all these processes of change and transition, but also motivates the pause, the balance. A couple of more breath cycles here. Just taking a moment to sink in deeper into this present moment. Good. Gently start to wiggle the toes and the fingers. Bring in a deeper breath to activate the belly. You can either bring your hands to your eyes and gently open the eyes or flutter the eyelids open. And we're going to move into our chair yoga. So I'm going to come into a wider screen here so that you all can see me. Okay. All right, so I'm going to scoot back so I have more room. I'm going to scoot to the front of my seat. You're welcome to join me in that. And we're going to move slow today. All right, so we can be real aware, very aware of the pauses. And we're going to start with the shoulders. So let's bring both shoulders up towards the ears, squeeze them in. Hands can rest on your lap. Now, as the shoulders are squeezing up, anchor your tailbone down, be long through the spine and activate the abdominals. It's going to feel like the upper abdominals might even squeeze up into the bottom ribs, okay? And then drop them, bring them away, pause. Let's do it again. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale and drop them. Pause. We're going to rotate the right shoulder. Do a couple of rotations here. And then we're going to come to stop. And before we switch, we're going to pause, feel the sensations, and then reverse direction. You can let these movements be as big as you want, or slow or fast, right? Come to stop, pause, breathe it in. And let's do the left shoulder. So rotating one direction. And be aware now of the muscles that you're moving. These are subtle movements. Notice the navel center balancing you, stabilizing you, and the smaller muscles maybe in the shoulder that are working here. Pause, feel the sensations here. And now let's reverse direction and be mindful of those muscles, those tendons moving the shoulder. It's not so much the elbow or the hand moving it, it's the shoulder. Notice the shoulder blade, how it moves as well. Good. Come to pause. That feels good. Okay. Let's arch the heart, the spine. Okay. So bring the shoulders back. Bring the heart forward. The chin might come up. The shoulder, the crown of the head reaches high. Big belly, expand through the collarbones. And then exhale, release the effort, pause. It's hard to pause, it's hard to slow down, right? And then squeeze the shoulder heads in towards each other, curl them in. So now you're arching the back towards the back wall. Hug that navel center in, find your balance here, find that stability. Tuck the chin towards the sternum. And then gently come out and pause. Feel the sensations here. What are these sensations telling you? You know, if you're in it and it's like, ooh, but then you come out and you're like, that felt fantastic. Well, that's good self-awareness. If you're like, there's still, I could do that a little bit more, right? That's how we develop self-awareness. Let's clasp the hands behind us now so the shoulder heads roll back. You can if you're not able to reach your hands, you can hold the back of your chair and bend the elbows. Even if you have your hands clasped, if you want to get up higher between the shoulder blades, you bend those elbows, okay? And open it up. So let's open the throat, bring the chin forward, the crown of the head high. Yeah. And then release and pause. Breathe in deep here. You might even feel some circulation, like some seltzery feelings of that blood flow, because we get tight in that region. Now let's get a little bit deeper. So rolling those shoulder heads forward again, hug the navel center in. Let your hands come out towards the knees or down. So the fingertips might even be pointing down to the earth. Tuck the chin and come into an even deeper bend here. Okay. We're just rounding the back. We're not coming forward with the hips. A little bit more. Yeah. Good. And come up and pause. Notice how each pause initiates the next shift. Okay, so we pause between each shift. So we're going to shift now to the lower body. So bring up the right foot, the right knee. The foot's just hovering an inch or two off the floor, and bring out your awareness into the pelvic girdle. Okay, notice the deep, deep muscles that are working around. They're working around the SI joint, the hinge. That's where the spine and the sacral plate, the pelvis meet, they fuse, right? But it's moving deep down around the root lock, the perineum. And now make circles with your heel, real subtle, real slow, and notice the activation in that sacral area. Sacral for sacred. Good. Pause, hover, breathe, find your balance. And now reverse direction. Real small circles. Can barely tell I'm moving, right? Good. All right. And then pause, hover, breathe. And intentionally bring your foot down to the floor and notice the sensations between the 2 feet, the 2 legs. I'm getting quite the core workout. I don't know about you all, but my core is starting to feel a bit tired. And now let's pick up the left foot, hover it. So you'll find the foot is parallel to the floor, it's slightly flexed, right? Okay. And once you've got your balance, find that activation in the core and the pelvis. And now make your circles with the heel as if you could draw. It'd be funny to see what the circles actually look like if we had it on paper. Good. Pause, hover, breathe, rebalance, and now reverse direction. Good. Yeah. Okay. Hover, breathe, and now intentionally bring that left foot down to meet the right. Okay, let's hug the right knee in. Okay, and rotate the ankle. Pause, reverse direction. Good. Pause, point and flex. Good. Now cross the ankle over the leg and hinge forward. So you could even bring your hands into the hip crease so that, and your thumb to the outside of the hip to give that sense of bringing the crown of the head forward, lifting out of this pelvic girdle and coming forward so that you're hinging from the hip, not rounding the back. Just a light, light release here. Breathe. Come back up. Good. Lift that leg and gently lower it down and hug the left knee, pause, and bring in that left knee, hug it in, rotate the ankle as it pops and crackles, reverse direction. Good. Pause, Point and flex. Breathe. Good. Now cross that ankle over the right thigh towards the knee, right? It's not going to be super high. Maybe bring your hands, your fingertips into that hip crease, the thumbs to the outside of the hip, and lift through the crown of the head, lift up out of the pelvic girdle and hinge forward through the hips so that our spine is long. Okay, it's not curved. And just brings a nice activation through the hips, the IT band. And come back out. Pause. Maybe lift that foot. We're going to twist gently. So, with intention, start to lift up out of that pelvic girdle again. The left hand to the outside of the right thigh as we twist open to the right. Breathe. Come back to center and pause. And then twist to the left. Right hand to the outside of the left leg. Open up through the left. Stretch through the collarbones. So as we take in the sights and sounds of the fall season that's evolving, it's easy to be focused on the end goal of getting to the destination or finishing it, right? Getting all the apples. But I encourage you to take lots of pauses. Sometimes taking photographs can help us, take those moments of pause, of bringing it into our awareness, being able to appreciate it. And there's a sense of gratitude, even, right? When we take a moment to pause and notice and be like, oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, that feels so good. That tastes delicious. Oh, that smells just so, oh, right? It's what brings quality to our life, but it brings us health. It brings us vibrancy. It's the things that make these transitions more doable. So feel free to take a moment here and slump into your chair. So notice how, if you haven't already, maybe scoot back into your chair and really slump in there, get into your mini shavasana. And I cannot take credit for these pictures. These pictures are Pixabay. But let your hands just droop down beside you. And maybe even bring your head back. Okay, if you want to close your eyes here, feel free. And I'll read you a poem written by Willard, a fifth grader, Liam Rice, who went to Willard School. And I thought his little poem fit nicely. As season turns season, the soft light green leaves change to bright yellow and orange leaves. As squirrels stash their food in the ground to get ready for winter, as birds migrate to the south and come back north. For spring and summer, as tall trees sway and dance in the wind. And I love that image of the trees swaying, dancing in the wind, the activities of nature all around us. And we're only going to notice them if we stop and pause. And we're only going to notice the shifts within us when we stop and pause. So I invite you, if you are collecting wellness points with your HR, the keyword for today was pause. And this was an image. We were hiking through a bit of a marshy area, and so there was a little bit of a babble and a gurgle to that creek. But if you want to contact us to schedule an appointment or to have a consultation, or you're in crisis ever, or you just need some support, you can call us or email us, and you can find our recordings of all our presentations, including these R&Rs on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you to check it out. If you want email reminders, check out the chat box, chat up the EAP gathering, and you can leave your email, and we'll be sure to add you to the list. So thrilled that you all could join today, and we look forward to seeing you for the November R&R. Doesn't feel real. So thank you all, and
Thank you, Shelly.
you're so welcome. It's a joy. It's a joy to share. All right. Take care, everyone.